gente, tudo bom com vocês? Eu sou a Alice e esse é o Alinho aqui e hoje a gente tem um vídeo muito especial. A Paramount me convidou pra ir lá pra Nova York pra entrevistar o elenco de Um Lugar Silencioso Dia 1, que é o novo filme da franquia de Um Lugar Silencioso. Eu entrevistei os dois protagonistas, a Lupita e o Joseph Quinn. Ai, gente, foi muito legal. Eu sei que tem muita gente aqui que sabe da minha pequena obsessão pelo Joseph Quinn, então foi um momento muito especial e eu também amo a franquia de Um Lugar Silencioso. Também conversei com o diretor do filme, que não é o John Krasinski. O John Krasinski é o criador da franquia, mas ele passou o bastão da direção desse filme pra um novo diretor e eu tava muito animada pra ver uma nova visão de um universo que a gente já conhece. O nosso papo foi muito legal e eu vou deixar vocês verem como foi incrível, divertido, maravilhoso. Ai, foi tudo! Aproveitem a entrevista e vamos falar de Um Lugar Silencioso de Amor. Hi guys, it's so nice to meet you. Thanks for having me. So my first question is about, like, the movie is not just an apocalyptic movie. It's a lot more than that. It's like about human connections and about like life itself. So how was your first reaction when you like read the script and figured out it was much more than you thought it would be?
For me, that I was reading it to inquire what else it was going to be about, because my first conversation was with John Krasinski, and he had walked me through, he basically said to me, look, I don't want to make any more of these films unless I can find something new to say, a new way to say it. And so when I got the script, I knew that I was not going to be receiving just another monster movie. And the first two had, proven to be unique and very character and relationship driven. So when I read this, I was expecting something more than that, but I was certainly not expecting what this story actually ends up being about. I love that with this new film, this prequel, we're following different characters, and unlike the first two, they're not related to each other. There is no default reason why we would understand why they need to stick together. And so you are in this new world, you're with characters that you don't know and they don't know each other, and reluctantly they come together and to navigate this new treacherous world. And we see the power of human connection and of belonging beyond family bonds, and I think that's really quite beautiful.
It's so nice to meet you.
Nice
Thanks
to meet
for
you
having
too.
me.
Thank you for coming.
I'm a really big fan of the A Quiet Place franchise, and I was really excited to see like a fresh look on that, especially because we lost like the element of surprise from the creatures. So how it was for you to know that you would get into this universe and you wouldn't have that. So how did you do to make sure audience were surprised by your movie?
I mean, I think it was leaning into two things. One, leaning into the emotional intimacy, like finding a different story with a different main character that was very unique to this specific film. So finding Sam that Lupita portrayed was a big part of that, and making sure that our sort of lens into the world was very focused on her point of view. And then the other thing was just treating the creatures like, I think what's so great about them is that sort of primal fear of you make a sound, you die. So it's like, okay, we get it, they have teeth and claws and it's all scary, but like leaning into that kind of fear of just people who are discovering these for the first time, and just feeling that sort of oppression of wherever you could go, there could be one of these creatures, and upping the scale of that. So yeah, I know people kind of know the rules and you don't need to like see that play out a bunch again, but seeing it through our characters' eyes and feeling like it's a constant threat was kind of how we focused on it.
I was going to ask about both of your characters because they are so different, and I feel like your character, she's fearless in a way because she doesn't have like a lot to lose, while your character, he's a scared like little kitty. So how it was to find the balance between those two characters, to make sure that at the end of the movie we understood why they decided to stick together.
I think that was the challenge of it. So we've got these two different people with very different attitudes to their own mortality, and for various different reasons, and very different attitudes to what the events are taking place in front of them. And I guess we all have different attitudes to things in life, and we all compromise and things like that. But I think that the circumstance of this film is obviously incredibly elevated and very heightened. So for these two new characters and two strangers to collide in this environment and see how that would be negotiated was a very interesting thing. And it was a great joy to get into it with Lou, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like I'm more like of an Eric, if the word would win.
Yes.
But I like to think I would be more like your character because she's...
I'm the Eric camp.
Yeah, and how did you decide, like, how did you find the balance between those more emotional scenes? Because we get a lot of that in the movie, and it's great. And those, like, action scenes that we also need to, like, you know, have a good action movie.
It's trial and error a little bit. You know, in the writing phase, you're always trying to figure out, okay, have we gone too long without some scares? Are we lingering on this too long? But then also a lot of it is working with the actors so that even in the big action scenes, you always feel like you're seeing it through our character's perspective. We're very kind of boots on the ground with it. So it's making it so that, yes, the action scenes are exciting and the character scenes are more intimate and quieter, but they're all just things that our characters are experiencing, and they all have emotional resonance for them. So, I mean, it was kind of by not treating them so differently and just saying, what is our character experiencing here, and how do we show that?
Yeah, an important question. Is there any food that would make both of you like fight the end of the world to eat one last time? Like any food, like something that really speaks to you. For me, it would be pasta because I really like it.
Yeah, it'd be pasta or
And it's a
pizza.
comfort
It's
food.
delicious. I'd fight for that.
I mean, Patsy's Pizza's pretty good.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know, I've luckily I got to live in New York for a year while we were editing this. And there's some amazing food in this city. We found
true.
an amazing sushi spot nearby that, I don't know, I would go pretty far for some good sushi.
Oh, sushi. Because
Yeah.
it was going to be really hard to have sushi after the world ended.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Pizza
probably
keeps
like-
for a little bit, but like sushi, if it were 3 days after the end of the world, I don't know if you should be eating sushi that was left out. That's a
true.
recipe for other kinds of noises.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
What would I fight for? The end of the world to eat one more time. Wow, that's such a good question.
Thank you.
That's a question of what's your favorite food.
Yeah, and it's a hard one, I know.
It is a hard one. I don't. Yo, man. Ooh,
Okay, you got it.
chevra.
Oof.
It's a Kenyan snack, and it's a derivative of Indian chevda. We call it chevra or chevdo or chevda, whatever. But it's like potatoes and peanuts and spice and oh, it's so good. I would definitely
Like
go
just
through
a
some stuff for
comfort,
that.
like something. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It was very nice talking to you.
It's lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you.